Hi again. Thank you for choosing In My Shoes. I'm Hilda Broady, your host. Today, we're welcoming back Apostle Baron Martin, but it's a different kind of show. So, I'm not even going to give you a hint. Welcome back, Baron.
Thank you so much.
Okay. And let me give you a flip-flop so you can be in my
lighted
shoes.
ones, yes, ma'am. Yay.
We're doing a different show today. I'm ready.
Today, we're going to flip the script. We're going to talk to Hilda. We want to understand her.
Yeah.
I love her. I met her years ago, and I'm a person that watches things, and I watch intently, and I remember. And I remember her calm. And I remember her having a lot of chaotic people around her. And I remember her being the rock in the middle of all these people. And it was amazing to me because I'm a minister, and I'm usually in the calm, in the storm, and the people need me to be a rock. And I always looked across the lane to see how she did it. I said, what makes her tick? You know, that one day she called me and she said, I'm going to run for mayor. And I said to myself, wow, well, boy, you got vision, you know. But I really appreciate the nuggets that you've given me over the years. So before we get into the questions that I have for you, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. You introduced me to your family, Michelle, and your nephew who worked for me for a while. That was a story. But thank you for sharing your life, and you gave me a lot of life tools. You know, they said behind every good man is a good woman. You're one of them.
Thank you.
In my situation, I need a lot of good, strong women. Okay, the first thing I want to know about you, what do all the letters behind your name mean?
Okay, so the MS is I have a Master's of Science in Education. The VRC is I'm a vocational rehabilitation counselor. The LMHC is I'm a licensed mental health counselor. And the KSAC-T is until the 30th of this month, a credentialed alcohol and substance abuse counselor. But since I'm not going to go to work anymore, I didn't bother to take the test so that I could be licensed in that area because I ain't going to work, so why waste my time? I'm not going to spend my time unwisely. So those are my letters. I also have other letters that I don't put there, but that's okay too.
Well, thank you very much, because I know when I get emails from you have all those letters. I'm like, I wonder what that stuff means.
Because I'm not a stupid woman, and because I'm TBI, traumatic brain injured, and I have brain hiccups, people tend to think that people who are TBI are stupid, and we're not stupid. We just have to let things settle down so that they float back into our heads.
All right. Thank you. I know that every letter you have, you've earned it and you've applied it. You know, I know a lot of people that got letters and they don't really do much with it. And thank you for sharing your education and being that transformer that takes the education that the system gives us and you put it back into the neighborhood, into the community, into the lives of your people. Thank you. We're going to get to the easy stuff. Tell me about how you started bowling. Your passion.
My passion. I never went bowling until I was 16 years old. And I was horrible. I couldn't keep the ball on it was so bad. My first strike, nobody saw because everybody had gone to the bathroom. That's how long it took. And I finally struck, and then I turned around and looked, and I was like, man. So, and then there was a thing called Mid-City Lanes. It's in Port Authority now. I don't know what they call it now. They call it something else now, but it was Mid-City Lanes then. And they used to have bowling special where all the games you could bowl for this set fee, which was dirt cheap. But I didn't know what I was doing, so I would go and try to bowl as many games as I could in those 2 hours, not realizing you're doing the same dumb thing over and over again and not getting any good results. I didn't join a league until 1981. I was already disabled, and then now I think I can still bowl. So I'm going to learn now. And after 5 years of just getting sick of being sick of my scores, I took a coach class so that I could learn. Because by then I was teaching, and you really should learn what to do the correct way before you start teaching, especially little children. Because I mean, actually got on the lane with little, I call them mighty midgets because, you know, they're 5 and they're, and I said, do what I do. I limp. You know, they limped up the
Sure
lane.
they did.
They limped up the lane. I was like, oh my God, they really do listen to you. So I said, no, no, you don't have to limp. If I didn't limp, if I didn't have to limp, I wouldn't be, don't, I want you to walk straight. So after you take the level 1 class, then you, of course you want to take the level 2. And then I wanted to expand the different approach program, so we brought all the coaches in.
What was the foundation? What made you start your own league?
A different approach.
Because I believe you were telling me there's a lot of problems. And,
there was a lot of problems with the other programs in that it seemed that if you weren't a superstar, you were just putting money in, and all the people at the top got all the money, and all the people at the bottom got all the tears. So I said, no, but bowling is fun. People want to have fun. You don't go to bowling to make money. You go to bowling to have some fun. So what I did was I said, I'm going to take a different approach. Okay, and we're gonna have singles and doubles. We started out with Wednesday night mixed doubles, and then we went to Monday night mixed singles. So I had a Monday and a Wednesday, and then I had, no, it was 4-man team. 4-man team on Monday, doubles on Wednesdays. And I took the people on Wednesday and the people on Monday and had them all competing against each other for singles. Okay, so there was competition because everybody on Monday night didn't know everybody on Wednesday and vice versa. So you're bowling like you're bowling in a tournament against somebody. And I'm the trustworthy one because I'm not a crook. So they trusted me not to take their money, and then, okay, and then the first 10 places in the singles, the first 3 places in the doubles, and the first 3 places in the 4-man team got paid. We paid for them to go to the city championships. And the first year that they allowed women to bowl in the New York City, there used to be New York City Bowling Association. I had a team in there with 2 women, and they took first place. 2 men and 2 women, but they took first place. So we're trailblazers. We're having some fun, and we have moonlight bowling, and we had birthday parties, and people were just having fun. You don't just bowl for singles. They were bowling scotch doubles, and that's my sneaky way of getting people to learn how to make spares, because you're going to throw the first ball, and I have to pick up your spare, but it's my first ball. So if you leave something and I pick it up, then I get a strike. We get a strike because it's my first ball.
Is that what Scotch double is?
That's what Scotch doubles is. That's a different approach of Scotch doubles. That's how I did it, so that the kids wouldn't feel that you're not a great bowler and I'm not a great bowler, but if I pick up a spare, it should be more than just a spare because it was my first ball.
It's still an accomplishment. So was it a gradual process that you had your philosophy behind a different approach, or was it something that was intentional where you got the people you began to release your ability to help people stand up and talk about their problems and get the help that they need but you did it in a sly way, right? Yeah.
No.
Like at the picnics and the other stuff that the things that come around the bowling, the family time.
No, because I've been kind of doing that all my life. Because my life was so challenging from the crib, I just kind of thought that I promised myself when I was young that I didn't have control of my life when I was young, but I was going to take control of every aspect that I could when I could. And I share that with people. So I try to tell people, yeah, that was bad that happened to you, but you don't let other folks rule you, because you still have to take care of you, and you're responsible for you. And you would hope that someone else would be responsible for you, but I'm responsible for me, and I'm taking charge. So I don't try to take charge of other people's lives, although they kind of think that that's what I'm doing. But if I see you stepping in the wrong direction, I'm going to try to point you in the right direction. And I yell. I have yelled. If I didn't care, I'd walk away. But I care about people, so.
Well, I know that. That's why I'm sitting here. Just for the record, me and my son used to play with her in the league. He still talks about it. He said, "When we going to go bowl?" I said, "When you get a job." Anyway. Okay, we're going to jump out of the bowling. I know we could sit here for the
Forever.
entire show. There's so much you could ask about, but what I want to do is move on to another portion of your life. I've kind of known you for a while, so I get like little glimpses of things you do. And the next one, which I think is very interesting, is the politics, since it's such a hot topic right now with our most famous Donald Trump as president and the wonderful Republican Party, Paul Ryan and them. You ran for mayor, and you met the New York characters.
Yes.
And I called you one day, we were talking, and you let me know how tough it was. And it wasn't just because you were black. It wasn't just because you're a woman. I suspect it was because you're intelligent, because I believe there's a prejudice against intelligent people. And I believe there's a thing against handicapped people. And you have 4 strikes. And I'm not talking about the bowling style. Mm-hmm. But when you went in, what would you tell a young person who's interested in going into politics now? What would you warn them, or what would you guide them?
Start earlier. Start earlier. I actually have a young man, Justin Westbrook Lowry, who is on Community Board 9, but he started earlier as intern to Torres, to interns with the borough president, so that you're not surprised. I was surprised by the attitude, of people who I never anticipated would be discriminatory. Like, I was a member of the reentry, the Bronx Clergy Criminal Justice Round Table. Okay, and they decided they were going to invite all of the candidates to a forum down in Manhattan, in Harlem, and guess who they wouldn't let speak?
Now, you were an official candidate.
I was an official candidate. I did all those steps that you have to do through, and they're all in your business and everything, and I was an official candidate.
So you was vetted and ready.
And they refused to let me speak, but I was not a happy trooper. I stayed outside, and I said, I'm on their committee. They know me. They called me the angel lady. Remember I used to give angel pens to people? Mm-hmm. They called me the angel lady, and they put their foot in my butt. So I said, okay, that's one.
Now, what party did you run with then?
The People's Party, because it couldn't deal with, I didn't want to be a Democrat. I didn't want to be associated with the Democrats. I didn't want to be associated with the Republicans. None of the parties made any sense to me, so we said People's Party. We have our own emblem and everything. And I said, because we're about the people. And the only reason that I ran was I was listening to somebody who worked for Transit or something who said he was going to run, and he said absolutely nothing about what he was going to do the right way. And I'm saying they need somebody poor or who understands poverty, not just I read about it, but I actually lived through it. And you've heard me say my family was poor. But we survived. Okay, and I know I'm not spending $200 for a 50-cent screw. I don't think so. Matter of fact, if I buy 10 of them, you better give it to me for 25 cents because I got volume here. And that was my, and as I went to the various community organizations, such as the House of Justice on 145th Street.
Your name dropping now. Go ahead.
Who invited me to speak. So I brought my entourage with me. Come on, we going down because we're going to be on the radio. And then guess what? I was upstaged by Bill de Blasio. You invited me because it was National Women's Month. And it was the last Saturday of National Women's Month. But they didn't let me speak. Okay, so then I went over to the Cotton Club.
On 25th Street.
Mm-hmm. And they said, oh, we got your back. This was automatics. Got your back. We got your back. Don't worry. That was in February. By July, I was going to their meetings. I'm speaking to people. Da, da, da. They chose another candidate. Didn't tell me. So I said, how do you have me spending my time unwisely? If you have my back, then it means you have these neighborhoods and I'm taking care of these over here. Didn't work out. It didn't work. So if the people in my community are saying different things and not telling the entire truth, then how do I expect a stranger? I had more assistance from people I never met before, from people who were not like me, but who had heard about some of the things that I had done than I had from our community. And I that's why I have a TV show now, because I don't have to worry about in 4 years I have to run again. This is mine. Okay, and this is going to be my venue. I just wanted a venue because we can make things better. And we do provide answers and solutions. And that's the only reason I wanted to be mayor. And I'm kind of glad it was a learning experience. I learned a whole lot in them 12 months of in spending my life savings. I didn't spend all of it though because I put a cap. And I told my financial advisor, don't let me need all this money because cat food by candlelight is not really sounding good to me right now. I said, so I'm allocating this much, and then when that goes, okay, that's it. And we got to just that much when I finally decided, perhaps there's another way we can do this.
Did you, what do you think now about the politics going on?
This is, our president didn't want to be president. He really didn't. He said it. And after he was in for a couple of weeks, he said, I don't want to be president. I think this was just a joke to him to begin with. And all of a sudden, for some reason, he's there. And it's like, ooh, he doesn't like to be told what to do. People are telling him what to do, and he's balking it. So we're not going to move forward anywhere because it's the back and forth. He's fighting with his own peoples.
Yeah.
I do agree with him with the undocumented aliens.
I do too, actually.
Because we don't call them undocumented aliens. We call them illegal aliens. And I think that they should go home.
They're breaking the law.
They're breaking the law. And only because I work with kids. And I tell, don't break the law. I'm constantly saying, there's so much out there. You don't have to break the law. So how am I going to tell someone who's from a foreign country, it's okay. Come on, our laws really don't mean anything to you. And be serious about it. And the only thing that he hasn't done correct with that is call them illegal aliens. Because if you call them what they are instead of undocumented, people kind of may hear that maybe they need to go home and come back the right way because we really are at war still. And I don't know who you are. And I don't know what your thoughts are. So
I remember when you stopped walking. And I remember you got really overweight. And you look so good now. Pushing your little thing there, your cart. What did you do to reverse? Because I know a lot of women, like church women, and they eat, and they get overweight. They usually start off beautiful, but they lose something. And there's a battle in the church that they're not mentioning, where they're fighting to do what you're doing, which is to reverse all that negative stuff in their lives. How did you do that?
I've been on every diet in the world. I even made up a few. Okay. I think that's what caused my gallbladder, because I was fasting for 24 days and then starting to eat again. So you're telling your body, shut down, and then you're saying start up again, shut up, and then kept doing it until I made myself sick. And I finally realized that if the doctors didn't fix what was really wrong with me, which was my thyroid, then no matter what diet I went on, it wasn't going to work. I even had the lap band.
Really?
I gained weight with the lap band, because if the thyroid is not working,
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what you do. And the only reason I did the lap band was because I needed to have a hip replaced. I had one hip replaced, and the doctor said he wasn't going to do the other one until I lost some weight. And I'm saying, but I'm not. This is my food diary. Why am I gaining weight and nobody could tell me? So I said, okay, I'll go get the lap band done. And after, 5 months, he said, you haven't lost any weight. And I'm going, duh. I told you it's not me, it's that. So now what I did last year, I said, I'm killing myself and it don't make any sense. So what I did was I only eat when I'm hungry. There's no time of the day. People tell you, oh, it's between 9 and it's breakfast, and then it's lunch or dinner or brunch or dinner, and it's all these times in here. No, I eat when I'm hungry, and I stop when I'm not hungry, not when I'm full, when I'm not hungry. And I don't throw away my food because, that's a sin. My mother said, people in Africa are starving, and when I was a child, I said, send them this food. But I didn't eat the fat, be fat, but and I do eat that food. I don't waste the food. I just don't eat it all at one time.
Have you pulled yourself out of the disability wall?
No, that's never going to happen. That's never, because this is how it's going to be. Even with the 2 new hips, since they didn't give me my 5/8 of an inch on my right leg, so I still walk like this. So the doctor says I have to use the walker because I don't want to mess up my new hips, which are not all that new now because the right one is 10 years old.
Yeah.
But it's lasting, and I'm not having any adverse effects because I do listen to them about that, and I did lose 120 pounds. My nephew came and what did he?
I was worried about you
He
for
thought
a
I was
certain
sick.
point. I was like, oh, she's gaining too much weight.
He,
I remember.
he thought I was sick though. He came to the because I didn't realize I was losing weight. I really didn't realize I was
And
losing
that was
weight.
based on you just adjusting your
Just
your weight.
adjusting what I ate. No, I didn't change anything. I don't do the sugar free and on. I never drank diet sodas because I always thought they was nasty.
So did I.
Okay, so but I didn't change what I eat so I can have what I want. But since I'm not eating until I'm full, you can really have what you want. Just people tend to feel the obligation. If I have a pint of ice cream in front of me, I gotta finish it. Okay.
My taste buds tell me to finish mine.
Okay, so I don't. But now it takes me 2 or 3 sittings to get through that, and so now I buy pops instead. So it's just easier.
Got you. Okay. So, moderation, I see that. What other battle lines are you concerned about that you see maybe there's a lack of focus that you think we should really be looking at for people with disabilities? Like what's the top top 2? Yeah.
My top peeve right now is our transportation system is inaccessible. I don't know what else I can do though. I was on the transportation committee for I don't God how many years. That's how accessorized when before the ADA was even passed. ADA came into existence in 1990.
That's the American Disability.
Americans with Disabilities Act.
Okay.
I was on the transportation committees in the 80s trying to get them to get up to speed. And transit, talk about the trains falling apart and the tracks messed up. They still haven't made the stations accessible, which is why Accessoride is such a disaster. Because that was only supposed to be a paratransit was supposed to be able to take you from an inaccessible area to an accessible train. That's what it's supposed to be, or an accessible mode of transportation. Because back then, even the buses weren't. They didn't raise up and down back then. They were just, and we were hoping that it's been 26 years now, that by now they would have made more inroads into really taking seriously the fact that people with disabilities want to be integrated into the transportation system, not segregated. Accessoride tends to leave people stranded, not pick them up, make them late. I tell anybody, if you have doctor's appointments, Accessoride is not the way to go. If you have medical insurance that covers Ambulette, take the Ambulette because Accessoride may not get you there. And some of the treatment that you need, you can't miss. And then they tell you if you take a cab or something and you have to wait to be reimbursed and you have to have permission from them, this is too many steps that we have to take to get from point A to point B. And it's only supposed to be, I want to go where I want to go. I want to visit I want to visit my cousin in Brooklyn. And I don't want to spend 12 hours trying to get there.
And then 12 hours coming back.
No, we're not coming back.
I get it. When we talked on the phone last, we spoke, I had asked you a question, which is something I didn't know, but I am going to repeat it because I thought it was the most interesting, like a very interesting facet of who you are. I said that I watched you with women and men in the bowling alleys and around Vesett, and I noticed that you have a particular strength with men, black males particularly. And I said, I wonder what is it that she knows that she can get guys to do stuff, because you seem to be able to handle bulls and elephants and gorilla dudes, and somehow you could get in their face. And see, I said, go sit down or go, go get a job, whatever. And I watched you do reactions, and they react. How did you develop that skill? They don't teach that in school.
No, they teach that when you have 7 brothers. I have 7 brothers who love me.
Older, younger?
I have 1 brother older than me, and everybody else is younger than me, except that the older one and the one right behind me, uh, they would team up to challenge me. Okay, let me keep that right. Until I almost flushed the older one's head down the toilet. And then they realized that maybe they shouldn't mess with
Put you
me.
on the team.
I love my brothers. That's why guys, I think one guy hit me, and I like a guy, because my brother's a fighter. I had a brother's a professional fighter, so none of the Broady women hit like this. We all come on and we punch like guys. And he said, "Oh."
That was the point, right?
And I said, and so you realize that I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you, but I will if you make me. Okay, so that's how, and I don't try to brutalize people, and people kind of know. I think most of the guys know also that I really care, and if I wouldn't say anything and I wouldn't come back again if I didn't care. So if you don't want me to say why you make me waste my time, I would rather you try something, and if it doesn't work out, then we can come to a solution that better works than to have you feel less positive about your life. Let's keep it clean.
Okay. I'll let you use your word is the way you want to. So in talking about that, so what does a whole person look like to you? What is Hilda Broady's, I met you here in trouble. This is what a whole person looks like down the road. Do they bowl?
Some of them bowl.
So you have some people that have gone down the gamut and they're doing much better now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you have like a success board or a place where you just put all your trophies?
We need to do that, but we just haven't, and I guess maybe we should. I mean, people even say, well, you don't even have a web page, and I'm going, I'm kind of busy, and I don't have that skill.
Well, just put it out there. Tell somebody to come. Say, hey, I need somebody to help me with the website. They'll come.
Okay, but because I don't have that skill, and I said, nobody is good at everything. People tend to believe when I say I don't know. People don't believe me. I don't know, but I'll find out is usually what I say. Let me check it out. But if I say I don't know, it's because I really don't know, not because I can't be bothered with you. That's what I do.
Okay. So what does a person look like that is successful to you? What would you check off and say, okay, this is good, this is good, this is good? What would you?
Are you living where you want to live? Are you doing what you want to do? Because a lot of my clients would come in and I would say, so what do you want to be when you grow up? Only because if they were sitting in front of me, they were starting all over again with their work, their life skills, whatever, because of their disabilities. So they're coming into VR. It's Access VR now. It was Vesett then. Because they needed help. What do you want to do? And they would say, anything. I'll do anything. And you're sitting there going, you will not shovel doo-doo in Alaska, so don't tell me that you'll do anything. What is it that you want? What is it that you hate to do? And we can start with what you don't want to do to get to what you want to do. And then, is it feasible? Because people tend to, if you have a full-scale IQ of 63, you're not going to be a rocket scientist. In real life. But there's something there. And I've had clients who we sat down and we just discussed, and we found things that they wanted to do that they didn't even know they wanted to do it. Just by just going through the things that they hated. Because I asked you, you want to make things or you want to break things? Because there's a lot of money in demolition as well.
Yeah, it is.
So that trying to just make sure that all the aspects of your life that are important to you are in place and you're not sad all the time. Because people walking around frowning, I smiled every day. And people say, well, you do. I really liked what I did. I chose that. And people, I worked because I wanted to work, not because I had to work. Because I was eligible for disability. I could have sat home and collected a check and just chilled. And I said, I got a master's degree. I don't think so. I think I'm supposed to be doing
You have to
something
pay
with
for
that.
it too. Yeah, all that money. Yeah,
No, I was smart. I got scholarships for that. So
I understand. I'm debt free too, so I get it. We ain't
you know,
no debt. Tell us something about you we don't know.
most people know everything. Why do I keep doing this, doing what I do? I do what I do because I need to have control. Because from a very young age, I was abused by two men ongoing until I was 12. And I mean, people have heard me say, and I had my baby when I was 13, and I delivered in the hallway of the hospital. And the good thing that I could say about that was nobody took that from me. She died, but I I was raped and I was abused. And so when I was 13, it was somebody else. I don't tell people to go that way. This is how I learned how not to step left because somebody else has taken advantage of me. We tend to not do what's right for us when bad things happen to us because you think you can't get away from it. And the only way that you can get away from it is to take care of your own business. So yes, I was 13 and I had a baby, but I graduated from Fordham University with a master's degree when I was 23, 10 years later. Okay, so they said I would never graduate from high school. My family was taking bets. This one bet 100, this one bet 50, this one bet 100. And I'm going, well, I'm going to be rich on graduation day. And I went around collecting my money because I knew if I had to go to school naked, I was going to graduate. And that was so that the younger people behind me, because I'm the fourth child, there's a whole lot of people behind me would know you need to graduate. You need to not stop. My older sisters stopped school because they looked bad in school because we were ragamuffins. And
I had that problem too.
and I kept saying, there ain't no fashion show here. I said, and if I don't go to school and finish, I'm going to be a ragamuffin and be an old ragamuffin. So I think I'll be going to school. Whereas my sisters dropped out. They ended up getting their GEDs and going to, but it was just easier to go straight through. And even the commuting, even without the coat. I had the, I still, I, oh I had an orange hoodie that I wore when it was 4 degrees weather. And I had to take 3 buses to get to school. It burnt in the fire and tuck it away burnt just in April. And my stuff was in there. So that's my jacket was in there, but I didn't have a coat. But and they were failing me in school until I told somebody because we tend to not tell people when we have problems either. So when I failed bio and I went to my guidance counselor and I said, you got to make them pass me. I'm going to college. I'm in the college bound program. And how they failing me? And I'm bringing my tests and I'm getting 95s on my tests. And they're failing me because of non-attendance or not participation. So her thing was, well, what do we do to get your mother to buy you clothes? And I said, tell welfare to give her more money. Because she's not giving me, I did have a coat the year before, but we put it in the cleaners and they didn't have the $250 to get it out, so they sold it.
Oh my God.
Back then, if you didn't take your stuff out in 30 days, you lost it. That was it. So that's what people know about me. Just keep going, stick with it.
So tell us something about you want us to know.
I want everybody to know that I want a bowling academy.
Okay.
I keep talking about it.
What does that mean? I mean, those are nice words, but what does it mean?
A bowling academy is, okay, the A Different Approach program has the largest number of certified Olympic coaches in one program in the world. We need participants. I want to have, the kids are, there's no place for them to be right now. Where are they going to go? How many programs are there for them? I'd like to have a place where they could come to be around positive people.
You mean like a boys' club for bowlers? Like a boys and girls club, like for bowlers?
Yeah,
That's
it's an
type of setting,
academy,
right?
but we're going to teach them how to bowl because if bowling offers more scholarships than all the other sports combined.
Really?
Yes, and our inner city youth are being excluded just by the fact that the centers are closing down.
Right? They don't. They're not exposed to the bowling, so they don't even
So they don't get
pursue the
they
skills.
don't
Like,
even get a chance to go after the scholarships. Like my kids, they're getting scholarships. They started. I had one kid. He was 4 years old. He won a scholarship. So that's and it's and also they make lifelong friends. Like my younger coaches, I had them when they were 4, 5, 6, 7. Now they're in their 30s, and they're my coaches because we have to give back. We have to pay it forward.
well, who better bowlers, men or women? That's really a joke, but I like to know.
I know that's a joke
Uh-huh.
because it depends on the skill level.
Okay, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really. People tend to not know that if you're doing it incorrectly and you continue to do it incorrectly, your body learns incorrect movements. So when I teach you, like my nephew, who was my first student, he said he thought that I hated him because I was nice to everybody but him. When he was bowling, I would yell, "Stop!" He couldn't roll the ball unless he did everything right. Now he's a 200 over average over bowler, so he understands if you do it right, because it takes 1,500 repetitions for your body to know what to do right. So if you're doing it incorrectly 1,500 times, your body is only going to remember the incorrect. Then we have to break it. So now I have to convince him, because he's a bronze level coach just like I am, that it has a value. See, so the bowling academy wouldn't only be for having fun, but coaches, the reason my guys were trained as coaches is because there were no summer youth employment. But you can charge people if you're a certified coach, and you're still going to be in that
So you're saying
positive
you guys
environment.
created a job for yourself.
That's it. So the higher level you are, the more like bronze level coaches can up to $75 an hour.
So how does that work? You have bronze,
You
gold,
have level
silver.
1. I think they just
So now we're going to go progressive up now, right?
right level 1. It used to be a level 2. Now they say no, you don't need the level 2 because they combine the level 1 and the level 2. So it's bronze. The next level is bronze, then silver, then gold. And
How do you get to the gold?
you have to do the videos, and I'm bronze, and
You mean like a training video?
it's training. No. You have to go to seminars. These are seminars. But the bronze level seminar, 3 days. The level 1 was 1 day. The level 2 was 2 days. I think the silver is like a week. But you have to learn everything. It's like they've changed a lot of how they train the coaches now, because when I started, they made us bowl with both hands. Only because you need to know what it's like for a child who has no clue. I still can't keep the ball in the lane with my left hand. I'm a righty. And I still do this. And no matter how many times the trainer said, no, you don't do this, and I told my hand, don't do this, my hand said, I don't care. I'm still doing this. This is right. Shaking hands. You don't shake hands like this. You shake hands like this, but I couldn't convince myself to do that the right way. But it's just, there's a whole lot in bowling that we sneak stuff in. We sneak education in. Because my kids have to bring their report cards. Not because I want to penalize them, but because I have a master's in education. I had teachers as coaches. If we know that you're having difficulty in school, then we can help you before it becomes a problem. Matter of fact, I had a mom take her kid out of bowling this season because he was doing poorly in school. That's what she said. And I'm going, oh, but you have the tutors and stuff here. I would have taken advantage of that, but she felt the need to do that. And I'm trying not to usurp parents' authorities. But sometimes kids don't want to listen to parents.
Well, I've come to the end of my questions that I wanted. I would like to say thank you for opening up who you are behind the scenes. Tell me one more thing. Your title.
Why is it in my shoes? For some reason, I talked to God and I said, I need something that makes sense, that I want people to feel at home. And how more at home can you feel than if I say,
Behind
coming
my
in my
shoe.
shoes? See, so then I started looking around for, well, how do I give that person the mean that you are? So you are in my shoes. You're speaking to me because you're in my shoes. And that's how it came about. And why did I spell it like that? Because if you spell it the other way, there's too many people with that.
Okay. I understand. Uniqueness is important. Branding is important.
And it's under the different approach umbrella. So
I always thought with you that you had walked in so many paths, like being abused. And I always thought that you was looking back like, okay, walk in my shoes because I know how to get out of it. That's what I always thought it was, like footprints.
okay,
That's what I always thought it was, like a path to help people to say, look, you don't have to step in the new doo-doo. Step in this way, and you
right.
can. I already made some leeway there. So
Because I share. I learned, because if we don't share what we know,
what's the point, really?
why do we know it? That's what I always said. So, and I say, and I never wanted to step left. And I've done some not smart things as well. And it took me until I was an adult to realize that maybe that was my fault. Oops, I could have done doesn't. But for the most part, it's like, take ownership for your errors. Don't dwell on them. Fix what you can fix, but that what you cannot control, you cannot worry about. Because there's too much other stuff we can be doing. And that's what I do. So, because they were saying, well, when I was in college, they called me pushy. Freshman year, I came in, orientation, I sat in the corner. I didn't say anything to anybody. You know, and it's going to be over here, and I'm just going to learn something. I'll let it all slam into my head, and I'm going to be good. And my classmates, who do you think you are? And why are you not saying anything? We're going to fix you. You're going to run for senator. They created a beast. Because I wanted to sit back and be quiet. And they said, you have to come up with your own campaign slogan. You have to come up with your own posters and all that. You know what my slogan was? Put a sister in the Senate. Okay, because I went to Fordham University at the Liberal Arts College, and I said, they won't know if I'm a sister or a sister. So I was trying to get all the votes. Just like when I ran for mayor, people said, well, where did that Fernandez come from? Okay, they didn't make that up. My mother's maiden name told her. If any of her kids ever ran for anything, we were going to give the Fernandez a play.
Why not?
So Fordham, it was like I was trying to teach people then that we could do so much. Because I was student senator, on the college council, head of the Black Student Union, on the student allocation budget committee, on the academic probation committee, so none of my friends could get kicked out. um, the allocations committee gave the student clubs their money, their funding for the season. Plus, I carried 16 credits and I worked 3 jobs.
I'm sorry I'm extending this, but I'd like to know, how do you get to your creative genius? Like, do you meditate? Do you pray? Do you walk?
I talk to God a lot.
Okay.
I didn't realize how much I did until recently, but I talk to God a lot, and I
And he
know.
responds by you having these creative things that you do.
And then I remember my grandmother saying, "We're special people."
Meaning
Don't.
your family
Uh,
or all of us?
well, she was talking about us, our family. We're special people, and we have to do something with our specialness, not waste it, because it's a sin. And not walking around strutting, I'm special, but I know that I'm blessed, and you're supposed to share your blessings. As far as that's what I was taught, and I don't think that was wrong. So I keep doing it, even to folks who don't quite understand. That's not my problem, because eventually the light bulb does go off, and I'm not waiting around for it to go off. But I'm not going to subject you, because I don't think you understand what's going on.
Well, I'm going to turn the show back over to you and tell you thank you very much.
Okay, well,
It was a pleasure.
okay.
Thanks, Hilda.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so folks, now you know a little bit more about me. Oh, I forgot. I got a couple of emails. No, I got more than a couple. I got a whole bunch of emails because I was given the award from the National Rehabilitation Association, NRA. That's not the Rifle Association. That's the Metropolitan Chapter of the National Rehabilitation Association. And they presented this award to me in 2016 for successfully educating the public to the concerns of individuals with disabilities. Because I'm one of y'all. No. Because people need to understand who we are and what we're about, and that we're not so different. There's very little wrong and a whole lot right. So, there we go.
Thank you. Well,
Thank you. Hope to see you soon. Be well. We spoke many times about drug addiction, and I know that most of us have had someone in our family or know someone who had an addiction. I wrote horror in 1970 something, early 70s, because I had this problem in my household too. The whore done invaded my house. $4 to throw all you need. She's turning on everybody like a bitch in heat. Don't give damn about age, race, color, or creed. Yes, the white whore got into my house, crept in on the point of a needle. She done stole my brothers from their lives, forcing them to desert their wives, destroyed all their minds. She's dangerous, evil. And I wrote that in 1973. And guess what? The whore is still around. What are we doing about it? Okay. When I was young, horrible, horrible things happened to me as well. And one of them was rape. So I wrote about everything that happened to me though. So I wrote raped, ragged, torn, ragged, clothes torn ragged, ripped, and soiled. Escape, can't escape, clothes torn ragged, ripped, and soiled. Maiden, no more maiden. Bodies all ragged, ripped, and soiled. That's from 1969. But it kind of depicts what we feel when we are violated by pedophiles or creeps. And we're having so many difficulties. People are trying to take on too much or suffering, and some things you just have to remember. Lessons for dancing in the rain. Quote, life isn't about how to survive the storm, but how to dance in the rain. Unknown, unquote. When life circumstances start to kick you in the pants, dance through the pain. Prance into a joyful refrain, my friend. Decline to remain, you can abstain. You gotta do your part right from the start by rejecting the invitation to the pity party. Quote, life isn't about how to survive the storm, but how to dance in the rain. Unknown, unquote. Which soon will seem like a blessing. That for which you cannot control, you do not worry about. Put it on a back burner until you have command, until you are at the helm and no longer overwhelmed. Quote, life isn't about how to survive the storm, but how to dance in the rain. Unknown, unquote. I'm talking about taking charge, not accepting defeat overpowering it by moving your feet. No, 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 no. Never, ever fleeing. I mean, trouncing it with every fiber of your being. Quote, life isn't about how to survive the storm, but how to dance in the rain. Unknown. Unquote. Life is about living. If you are failing to plan, then you are planning to fail. Being armed for any eventuality is a primary step for making your dreams a vivid reality. Quote, life isn't about how to survive the storm, but how to dance in the rain. Unknown. Unquote. Overcoming obstacles, trials, and tribulations, making it through tomorrow when all there seems to be is sorrow. Expecting the traps, enduring life's kicks and slaps is what living is about, no doubt. Quote, life isn't about how to survive the storm, but how to dance in the rain. Unknown. Unquote. Come on! It's only rain. You are not sugar. You won't melt. We can only get wet in the thunderstorm that is life. So let's all dance. A poem that I wrote called Attitude Adjustments. If attitudes were contagious, would yours be worth catching? We are who we are for very special reasons. Look around you. See what's around you. I stand before you. Do I abhor you? Well, I adore you. I have 3 PhDs. The first in Blackitude. Transformed from a ignorant colored gal to a black warrior queen after being infused with the knowledge of who my people are and from whence we emerged. For decades, the first descendants of kings and queens, then survivors of devils and fiends, arriving at a place where with love of life and passion as our only car, if attitudes were contagious, would yours be worth catching? Mine is. Let me infect you with the love. My fatitude emerged when some fools put me down simply because my body was round. They failed to see my fat as my shield that wards off the nuts. Yet I discovered I'm a nut magnet. And when I shed some pounds and was surrounded and invaded and astounded, as with magnets like poles repel, I need my fat to be my north force when north forces try infringing on my sources of energy. I am me. I will be. Can you not see? If attitudes were contagious, would yours be worth catching? Let me inject with you the passion. My gimpitude keeps me on the move. I cannot run. Hell, I can't stand for long, or even walk a block unassisted. But I arose from the dead not once, not twice, 3 times. So I know that God has something special for me in mind. So I touch and I teach and I try to reach the multitudes with this message. If attitudes were contagious, would yours be worth catching? If your answer is no, look within your soul. Make the adjustment so that the answer a resounding yes before you are laid to rest.
Yeah, MWAM got a message for you. Yeah. I've been less offended by the boxers or the sagging pants in our community. I got a song for you. Check it out. Here we go. Come on.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up.
Yeah.
It's the new style.
Come on, Colette, talk to me.
Say, Mr. Harris, sagging jeans is an epidemic.
That's right.
One that I've never been a fan of. And I can't stand how these young men, they sagging, they dragging. Come on, pull your pants up. And I know us girls, We in the wrong for not putting these fellas on.
You got the power.
But I'm offended by boxers, and I think that we all should be.
Come on, tell me.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up.
Yeah.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up.
Why?
It's the new style.
Come on.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up.
Yeah.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. It'll make your mama proud.
Here we go.
We living in a world affected by an epidemic. Sagging jeans and sweatpants is how I'm living. Need to set the example to make the future right. So hear our message when we hit you with the chair. Right?
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up.
It's kind of catchy.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. It's the new style. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. It'll make your mama proud.
I know you heard your belt say. You know your belt was talking to you this morning. Said, come on, just take me with you. I just want to help you all day keep your pants up. I just want to throw myself around you and hang out with you all day long. But you know what? You didn't listen, so now we don't have to tell you this. Come on, say.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. It's the new style. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. It'll make your mama proud.
Oh, nice.